Adam Clark stood alone in the crowded hallway of the Galactic Alliance Military Academy. All around him, alien species from across the known universe moved with purpose. Some floated on gravity disks, others slithered on multiple limbs, and many towered over his 6-foot frame. As the first and only human in the prestigious interspecies training program, Adam felt the weight of representing Earth with every step he took. "Cadet Clark," a deep voice rumbled behind him. "You are late for physical assessment." Adam turned to face Commander Vex Lore, a 7-foot Taurian with metallic skin that gleamed under the academy lights. The commander's 4 eyes narrowed as they stared down at the human. "Sorry, sir. The artificial gravity in the human quarters malfunctioned again. Still adjusting," Adam replied, standing straighter. Commander Vex Lore snorted, a sound like metal grinding. Humans, always with excuses. The Alliance questioned the wisdom of accepting your species into our ranks. Perhaps they were right to hesitate. Adam bit back a response. This was not the first time he had heard such doubts, and it would not be the last. Instead, he nodded and moved toward the assessment chamber, feeling the commander's eyes on his back. The physical assessment room was cavernous, with various stations designed to test the capabilities of different species. Adam walked to the human-adjusted section, aware of the sideways glances from his classmates. Many had never seen a human before his arrival 3 weeks ago. "Adam, over here," called a friendly voice. His roommate Zyrax waved with one of his 4 arms while calibrating, a scanner with the others. The blue-skinned Centaurian was an engineering prodigy, and one of the few cadets who treated Adam with genuine curiosity rather than dismissal. "Let me guess," Zyrax said as Adam approached. "Vex Lore caught you in the hallway?" "How did you know? He does that to all new species representatives, testing your psychological resilience." Zyrax finished programming the assessment equipment. "Taurians believe you can learn everything about a warrior within the first 5 seconds of meeting." "Them? And what did he learn about me?" Adam asked. "That you did not cower?" Zyrax's mouth formed what Adam had come to recognize as a smile. That is something, at least. The assessment began with basic strength tests. Adam performed well by human standards, but compared to the other species, his results were unimpressive. A draconian cadet named Krell lifted 10 times Adam's maximum, with a single limb making sure Adam noticed. "This is your Earth champion?" Krell asked the room, mandibles clicking in what passed for laughter among his kind. "I have pets with more strength." Several cadets joined in the laughter. Adam focused on his breathing, a technique he had learned during Earth selection trials. Let them laugh. He wasn't here to win strength competitions. Next came endurance tests. Adam ran on a treadmill programmed to simulate various gravitational conditions. He outperformed several species here, his body adapting to the changing stresses better than expected. Commander Vex Lore made notes on his tablet. One eyebrow ridge, raised slightly. "Interesting," Zyrax said when Adam finished, breathing hard but steady. "Your cardiovascular recovery rate is exceptional. Not the strongest, but perhaps among the most adaptable." Adam took a drink from his water bottle. "On Earth, we have a saying. It's not about how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit. And keep moving forward." "A curious philosophy," said a new voice. Adam turned to see Medical Officer Dr. Ray approaching with a scanner. Unlike most of the Academy staff, she showed genuine interest in human physiology. "Your species evolved as persistence hunters, did they not?" she asked, checking his vital signs. "Fascinating adaptation. Not the fastest or strongest predator, but able to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion." "Yes, ma'am," Adam nodded. "We're built to endure." Dr. Ray smiled. "We shall see, Cadet Clark. The Academy has broken representatives from much more physically imposing species than yours." The afternoon brought combat simulations. Cadets were paired off to spar using training weapons that delivered mild shocks, instead of lethal force. Adam was paired with a Velaran cadet named Jix, whose 4 legs and quick reflexes made her a challenging opponent. Adam took hit after hit, the training weapon sending jolts through his nervous system. Each time he fell, he got back up, adjusting his strategy, watching Jix's movements for patterns. By the 10th round, he had learned enough to anticipate her favorite attack sequence. When Jix lunged with her typical opening move, Adam sidestepped and countered, landing his first clean hit. The small victory felt enormous. The human learns, Commander Vexilor noted from the observation deck. But learning may not be enough here. At the end of the day, Adam collapsed onto his bed in the quarters he shared with Xerax. Every muscle ached and bruises were forming across his torso. "You performed better than expected today," Xerax said, hanging upside down from his sleeping rack as was customary for Centaurians. "Though your physical metrics are still in the bottom quartile." "Thanks for the reminder," Adam said with a tired smile. "It was not meant as criticism," Xerax replied. "Many species here have evolved on low-gravity worlds or have exoskeletons. Your internal organ arrangement alone makes you more vulnerable to damage than most cadets." Adam sat up slowly. "So why did the Alliance accept humans into the program?" Xerax was quiet for a moment. "The war with the Void Collective grows worse. Each cycle, the Alliance needs new perspectives, new tactics, and there are rumors." "What rumors?" "That humans possess qualities the Alliance values beyond physical specifications. Your history contains conflicts that would horrify even Draconians. Yet, your species survived, rebuilt, continued forward. This persistence interests the Alliance leadership." Adam thought about Earth's history, the countless wars, the suffering, but also the rebuilding that always followed. Perhaps there was something to that. "Get some rest," Xerax said. "Tomorrow begins survival training. And Adam?" "Yeah? Commander Vexilor has requested to oversee your group personally." Adam let his head fall back onto the pillow. "Is that good or bad?" "It means you have his attention," Xerax answered. "Whether that is good or bad depends on what you do with it." As the lights dimmed automatically, Adam stared at the ceiling. Among the stars of a galaxy that had known spaceflight for millennia, humanity was the newest, weakest member of the Alliance. But perhaps, Adam thought as he drifted to sleep, there were different kinds of strength yet to be tested. 3 months passed at the Galactic Alliance Military Academy. Adam Clark had survived the initial training phases, though not without struggle. His body was stronger now, adapted to the higher gravity settings of the common areas. His mind was sharper, filled with knowledge of alien cultures, tactics, and technologies, yet still, many of his fellow cadets viewed him as the weak link in their ranks. The morning started like any other. Adam woke before the artificial dawn, completed his Earth-standard exercise routine, and headed to the mess hall. There, he found an unusual buzz of activity. "Today is the day," Xerax said as Adam sat down with his nutrient tray. "The Crucible begins." Adam had heard whispers about the Crucible, a combat simulation so intense that some cadets withdrew from the academy rather than face it. The training exercise was designed specifically to push each species to their physiological limits. "Any advice?" Adam asked, forcing himself to eat despite his nervous stomach. Xerax's forearms moved in a gesture of uncertainty. "The Crucible is different for everyone. They pair cadets based on some formula only the commanders understand." A chime sounded throughout the hall and Commander Vexilor's voice followed. "All third-quarter cadets report to Simulation Deck Alpha. The Crucible awaits." Adam and Xerax joined the stream of cadets moving toward the largest training facility, in the academy. The room they entered was vast and empty, with dark walls that could transform into any environment using advanced holographic technology. Commander Vexilor stood at the center of the room, looking more serious than usual. "Cadets, today you face the true measure of your potential as Alliance officers. The Crucible will test not just your physical abilities, but your decision-making under extreme pressure." The commander began reading names from his tablet, pairing cadets and assigning them to different simulation chambers branching off from the main room. Xerax was paired with a Velaran cadet and gave Adam a quick nod before departing. "Cadet Clark," Commander Vexilor announced. "You will be paired with Cadet Krell, Simulation Chamber 9. Adam's heart sank. Krell, the Draconian who had mocked him since day one, the tall, scaled cadet with powerful limbs and a reputation for accidents during training. As they walked toward their assigned chamber, Krell's mandibles clicked in what Adam had learned was amusement. "Lucky day for me, human," Krell hissed. "Perhaps you will finally understand your place in the galaxy." The simulation chamber door sealed behind them. A voice announced, "Scenario loading. Hostile environment extraction. Mission parameters. Retrieve data core from crashed scout ship. Hostile indigenous life forms present. Begin in 3, 2, 1. The empty room transformed into a thick, steaming jungle. Heat and humidity hit Adam like a wall, but he knew his human adaptability gave him an advantage in changing environments. Krell, however, seemed immediately uncomfortable, his scales dulling in the moisture. "The ship is 2 kilometers north," Adam said, checking his wrist device. "We should move quickly before—" "I lead, human," Krell interrupted. "You follow." The Draconian pushed past Adam, using his powerful limbs to forge a path through the dense vegetation. Adam followed, keeping a careful distance. The jungle was filled with sounds, screeches, howls, and strange clicking noises that seemed to follow their movement. An hour into their trek, Adam noticed a pattern in the sounds. "Krell, I think we're being stalked. The noises are coordinated." "Your human paranoia is noted," Krell dismissed him. "If there were predators, my superior senses would have detected them." Just as the words left Krell's mouth, a creature lunged from the canopy above, a mass of tentacles and teeth that wrapped around the Draconian's torso. Krell roared in pain and anger, thrashing against his attacker. Adam drew his training weapon, adjusted the settings to maximum, and fired at the creature. It released Krell with a shriek and retreated into the trees. "You should have shot sooner," Krell snarled, checking his injuries. "I had to get a clear shot," Adam replied calmly. "You're welcome, by the way." Krell's eyes narrowed. "I did not need human help." They continued their mission in tense silence. When they finally reached the crashed ship, it was surrounded by more of the tentacled creatures. Adam suggested a stealth approach, but Krell insisted on a direct assault. The resulting battle was chaotic, with the creatures showing unexpected intelligence in their attacks. During the fight, Adam noticed Krell positioning himself strangely, not just fighting the creatures, but maneuvering to keep Adam in harm's way. When a particularly large predator charged, Krell suddenly shoved Adam toward it. Adam barely rolled away in time, the creature's claws grazing his back. He came up shooting, driving the beast back, then spun to face Krell. "That wasn't an accident," Adam said, breathing hard. Krell's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Prove it, human." They retrieved the data core and began their extraction. The return journey was even more dangerous, with the creatures now actively hunting them. Adam took point, his smaller size allowing him to spot ambushes that Krell might miss. As they neared the extraction point, a massive fallen tree blocked their path. Without warning, Krell's armored tail swung around, striking Adam squarely in the ribs. The impact was tremendous. Adam felt bones crack and air rush from his lungs as he was thrown several meters into a tree trunk. The simulation room briefly flickered, the safety systems registering the unplanned attack. "Oops," Krell said, mandibles clicking in mock concern. "Training accident. So unfortunate." Adam lay on the ground, vision blurring. The pain was intense, several ribs broken, possibly a punctured lung. He could hear the simulation's medical alert system activating, preparing to shut down the exercise and evacuate him to the medical bay. The room fell silent as other cadets and instructors viewing the simulation from the control room waited for the inevitable medical extraction. Commander Vexilor's voice came over the speaker. Simulation pausing for medical intervention. But Adam wasn't finished. With a groan that turned into a determined growl, he placed one hand against the tree and pushed himself up. Each movement sent waves of agony through his torso. He could taste blood in his mouth. Krell watched in disbelief as Adam straightened, up, one arm wrapped around his damaged ribs. The human's face was pale with shock, but his eyes remained clear and focused. Adam reached up with his free hand, grabbed his dislocated shoulder, and with a sickening pop, shoved the joint back into place. Then he picked up his dropped weapon, checked that the data core was secure in his pack, and looked directly at Krell. Again, Adam said simply, his voice rough but steady. "We have a mission to complete." In the control room, Commander Vexlor's 4 eyes widened slightly. He silenced the medical alert with a quick gesture and leaned forward, watching with new interest as the human cadet, who should have been hospitalized, simply kept walking. News spread fast on the Galactic Alliance Military Academy station. By the time Adam left the medical bay the next day, every cadet and instructor had heard about the human who took a hit that would have hospitalized most species, yet somehow completed the Crucible mission. Adam walked slowly down the corridor, his body heavily bandaged beneath his uniform. Medical officer Dr. Ray had reluctantly cleared him for limited duty, though her scans showed 3 broken ribs, a formerly dislocated shoulder, and extensive bruising across his torso. The pain medications helped, but Adam still felt every step. "You are either the bravest or the most foolish cadet I have ever treated," Dr. Ray had told him before discharge. Most species would have been in recovery for weeks after such an injury. As Adam turned a corner, he nearly collided with Commander Vexlor. The Taurian officer studied him with all 4 eyes, his metallic face unreadable. "Cadet Clark, Commander," Vexlor said. "Walk with me." They moved toward the observation deck, Adam doing his best not to show pain. Through the massive windows, the swirl of distant galaxies filled the view. "What you did yesterday was against medical protocol," the commander said finally. "You should have accepted evacuation when your injuries were detected." "Yes, sir," Adam replied. "But the mission wasn't complete. The mission was a simulation, cadet. Your life is not." "With respect, sir, in real combat there are no timeouts for injuries. I needed to know if I could continue despite the damage." Commander Vexlor made a sound that might have been a chuckle. "And what did you learn?" "That humans can endure more than even I thought possible," Adam said, "and that I should watch my back around Cadet Krell." The commander stopped walking. "The official report lists your injury as a training accident. Krell claims his tail movement was an involuntary response to perceived danger." "We both know that's not true, sir." "Yes," Commander Vexlor agreed, "but proving it is another matter, especially when the injured party refused medical attention and continued the exercise." They resumed walking in silence until they reached the commander's office. Inside, Adam was surprised to see Dr. Ray waiting, along with several screens displaying what looked like his medical data. "Sit," Commander Vexlor ordered, pointing to a chair. Adam complied, wincing slightly as he lowered himself. "Doctor, explain what you found," the commander said. Dr. Ray activated a holographic display showing Adam's body scan. "As you can see, Cadet Clark sustained injuries that would have incapacitated most known species in the Alliance. Yet he not only remained conscious but functional." She manipulated the display to zoom in on cellular structures. "Human tissue has remarkable regenerative properties. More interesting is their pain response. Unlike most species, humans can consciously override pain signals in emergency situations through what they call adrenaline and other neurochemical responses." "Is this common knowledge about humans?" Commander Vexlor asked. "No," Dr. Ray replied. "The Alliance database on human physiology was surprisingly limited. I've forwarded my findings to Alliance Command. They seemed very interested." Commander Vexlor turned to Adam. "It seems your species has been underestimated, Cadet Clark, perhaps even by your own kind." Adam shifted uncomfortably, both from his injuries and the scrutiny. "Sir, I'm not special among humans. Many would have done the same." "That," said the commander, "is precisely what interests us." After the meeting, Adam made his way to the mess hall, where conversations hushed as he entered. Eyes and other sensory organs from dozens of species followed him as he collected his food and looked for a place to sit. Xerax waved him over with 2 of his 4 arms. "The hero arrives," the Centaurian said as Adam sat down. "Your performance in the Crucible has become legendary. Some cadets are calling you unbreakable." "I'm very breakable," Adam replied, gesturing to his bandaged torso. "Just stubborn." Xerax leaned closer. "Krell is furious. His plan to eliminate you from the program backfired spectacularly. Now instructors are using you as an example of perseverance. Great, Adam sighed. That won't make him less dangerous. Actually, it might. The commanders are watching him closely now, and he's not the only one watching you. Adam followed Xerax's gesture to a table where a group of senior cadets sat. They nodded respectfully when they caught his eye. You've earned their respect, Xerax said. No small feat for a species new to the Alliance. The next day, Adam was surprised to find himself reassigned to advanced combat training, a class normally reserved for final-year cadets. When he arrived at the training room, Commander Vexilor was waiting. Cadet Clark, the commander said, your performance has caught the attention of Alliance Command. They wish to better understand human capabilities. I'm still recovering, sir, Adam said, indicating his injuries. Which makes this the perfect time to learn how humans adapt to combat while injured, Commander Vexilor replied. The Alliance has fought many wars, Cadet. Not all soldiers enter battle at peak condition. The training was brutal. Commander Vexilor pushed Adam hard, forcing him to find ways to fight effectively despite his limited mobility and pain. By the end of the session, Adam was drenched in sweat, his bandages spotted with fresh blood where wounds had reopened. Enough. For today, the commander said finally. Report to medical, then rest. We continue tomorrow. As Adam headed for the door, Commander Vexilor added, I have been studying your species' military history. Adam paused. And? It is disturbing. Your planet has known almost constant warfare. The casualties your people have endured in conflicts would have caused many species to surrender or go extinct. We're not proud of that history, sir. Perhaps you should be, the commander replied. Not of the violence, but of the resilience. I have served in 3 major conflicts. I have seen entire civilizations collapse after a single devastating defeat. Yet humans seem to rebuild no matter how great the destruction. Adam didn't know how to respond to that. Get some rest, Cadet, Commander Vexilor said. And know that you are being watched more closely than you realize. That night, Adam lay in his bunk, unable to sleep despite his exhaustion. His datapad pinged with an incoming message. It was from Dr. Ray. Cadet Clark, the message read. Your medical data has been forwarded to Alliance High Command. Their response was immediate. They are sending Admiral Peters to observe your training personally. Whatever you did in that simulation room has changed how the Alliance views humanity. Be prepared. Adam stared at the ceiling, suddenly aware that his actions had implications far beyond his personal training. For better or worse, he had become a representative of human potential in the eyes of the galactic community. In the darkness of his quarters, he made a silent promise to prove that humanity's strength wasn't just in their ability to take punishment, but in their determination to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles in their path. 2 weeks after the Crucible incident, Adam's body had mostly healed. The advanced medical treatments available at the Academy worked wonders, accelerating his natural recovery. His ribs still ached during intense physical activity, but he had adapted to the discomfort. The morning began with an announcement that all cadets would participate in a space station repair exercise. These drills were critical training for future officers who might need to make emergency repairs during combat situations. Listen up, said Lieutenant Kim, the engineering instructor. Today you will practice emergency hull breach protocols in zero gravity. Each team will have 30 minutes to locate and repair simulated damage to the training module. Teams were assigned randomly. Adam found himself grouped with Xerax and, to his dismay, Krell. The Draconian had been avoiding Adam since the Crucible, but his mandibles still clicked with anger whenever they crossed paths. Great, Adam muttered to Xerax as they collected their spacesuits. Just my luck. Stay alert, Xerax whispered, all 4 eyes darting toward Krell. He has been unusually interested in the repair module specifications recently. The cadets suited up and entered the airlock that led to the training module. This specially designed section of the station could be safely depressurized for realistic drills. The suits were standard Alliance design, modified for each species' unique requirements. As Adam checked his oxygen display, he noticed it was reading slightly lower than it should for a fresh tank. He tapped the gauge, assuming it was a sensor. Error. All teams, prepare for depressurization. Lieutenant Kim's voice came through the comm system. Remember, this is a timed exercise, but safety is priority one. Any equipment failures must be reported immediately. The airlock cycled, gravity, disengaged, and the cadets floated into the training module. 5 teams of 3 spread out to their assigned sections. Team 3, proceed to Sector D, the lieutenant instructed Adam's group. Krell took the lead, pushing off with powerful legs to glide through the zero-gravity environment. Adam and Xerax followed, using the handholds along the corridor walls to navigate. Their assigned sector was the furthest from the airlock, a small chamber that simulated a science lab on a research vessel. As they entered, Adam's oxygen reading dipped again. "I need to check something," Adam said, reaching for the emergency kit mounted on the wall. "My O2 levels seem off." "We don't have time for human equipment failures," Krell hissed. "The exercise has begun." Before Adam could respond, a loud bang echoed through the module and warning lights flashed. A simulated meteorite impact was part of the exercise, but this felt more violent than previous drills. "Alert! Alert!" the station AI announced. "Hull breach detected in Sector D. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Adam felt his stomach drop. The simulation had just become real. "Emergency protocols engaged," the AI continued. "Bulkhead doors closing in 30 seconds to contain decompression." Adam looked around and spotted the actual breach. A small but dangerous hole in the outer wall where a real micrometeorite had punched through the station's shielding. "We need to seal that now," Adam shouted over the blaring alarms. Xerax was already moving, pulling emergency patching materials from a wall compartment. "The hole is small, but expanding due to stress fractures." The 3 cadets moved quickly. Krell, despite his attitude problems, was well trained. He anchored himself to provide stability while Xerax prepared the patching compound. Adam positioned the reinforcement plate that would cover the breach. As they worked, Adam's oxygen alert began to sound in his helmet. The gauge now showed less than 40% remaining, far too low for the short time they'd been suited up. "I have an oxygen problem," Adam reported, pressing the plate against the hull while Xerax applied the bonding agent around the edges. "Concentrate on the breach," Krell said, "or we all have oxygen problems." The patch was holding, but the station's sensors detected additional stress fractures spreading from the impact point. Just as they finished securing the main breach, another alarm sounded. "Alert, cadets in Sector C requesting emergency assistance, multiple injuries reported." Adam checked his display. Sector C was the adjacent section where another team had been working. "We need to help them," Adam said. "The bulkhead is about to seal," Krell replied. "If we leave now, we'll be trapped outside our sector." "Those are our teammates," Adam pushed, off toward the connecting corridor. Xerax hesitated, then followed. "He's right, Krell. Alliance protocol is clear. We respond to all distress calls." Krell growled, but followed as well. They reached the bulkhead just as it began to close. Adam and Xerax slipped through, but Krell, larger than both of them, had to force his way through the narrowing gap. The door sealed behind them with a hiss. In Sector C, they found chaos. The meteorite had caused more damage than initially reported. 2 cadets floated unconscious, their suits damaged. The third was desperately trying to patch multiple small breaches. Adam's oxygen warning switched from yellow to red. His breathing was becoming labored, but he pushed the concern aside. 3 cadets needed help more urgently than he did. "Xerax, help with the breach," Adam ordered, taking charge of the situation. "Krell, stabilize the wounded. I'll check their suit integrity." To his surprise, Krell complied without argument. The emergency had temporarily suspended their rivalry. Adam moved to the injured cadets, checking their suits for damage. As he worked, his vision began to blur. The oxygen deprivation was affecting him faster than he'd expected. He forced himself to focus, sealing a tear in one cadet's suit with emergency tape from his utility belt. "Adam," Xerax called, "your O2 levels are critical. Use the emergency backup in the wall unit." Adam glanced at the emergency oxygen supply, then at the unconscious cadets. They need it more than I do. Just get these breaches sealed. His movements became sluggish as he continued, working. The rational part of his brain recognized the symptoms of hypoxia, but he refused to stop. Each motion required increasing concentration. Lieutenant Kim's voice came through the comm system. Rescue team en route. ETA 3 minutes. Report status. 2 unconscious, multiple breaches contained. Xerax responded. Cadet Clark's oxygen system is failing. Adam barely heard the response. He was focused on securing the last injured cadet to a stretcher. The simple task seemed impossibly complex as his oxygen-starved brain struggled to coordinate his movements. Krell moved beside him. Your tank was sabotaged, he said quietly. I recognize the work. Adam looked up in surprise. You? Not me, Krell replied. I fight openly. This was, someone else. Adam wanted to ask more, but darkness was creeping into the edges of his vision. He had pushed too far. As he secured the final strap on the stretcher, his body finally surrendered to the oxygen deprivation. The last thing Adam saw before losing consciousness was Krell reaching toward him. Not with aggression, but to prevent him from floating away in the zero gravity. The human, Adam heard Krell say with what sounded almost like respect, lasted much longer than he should have. Then darkness took him completely. Adam woke up in the medical bay for the second time in a month. This time the room was different, larger with more advanced equipment surrounding his bed. Dr. Ray stood nearby, reviewing his vital signs on a holographic display. Welcome back. Cadet Clark, she said when she noticed his open eyes. You seem determined to become my most frequent patient. Adam tried to speak but found his throat dry and raw. Dr. Ray offered him a cup of water. 2 days, she said, answering his unasked question. You were unconscious for 2 days. Severe oxygen deprivation. We had to put you in an accelerated healing chamber. Adam sipped the water slowly. The other cadets? All recovered thanks largely to your actions. You continued working despite oxygen levels that should have rendered you unconscious much sooner. The door slid open, and Commander Vexilor entered, followed by a tall human woman in an admiral's uniform. Adam tried to sit up straighter despite his weakness. At ease, Cadet, the woman said. I'm Admiral Peters, Alliance Fleet Command. Adam had heard of her, one of the few humans to achieve high rank in the Alliance military. She had been among the first Earth representatives to join the Interstellar Coalition 20 years ago. Your oxygen tank was deliberately sabotaged, Admiral Peters said without preamble. The culprit has been identified and removed from the Academy. Krell? Adam asked, surprised. No, Commander Vexilor answered. Cadet Krell was actually instrumental in saving your life. He provided emergency oxygen from his own tank while awaiting rescue. Adam blinked in confusion. But he hates humans. He respected your actions in the Crucible, the commander explained. Draconians value strength above all else. You earned his respect by refusing to stay down. The saboteur was a cadet from Proxima Colony, Admiral Peters added. Apparently, he believed humans were being given special treatment due to my position in Fleet Command. He wanted to prove humans were too fragile for real emergencies. He proved the opposite, Dr. Ray said. The data from your suit shows you remained functional at oxygen levels that would incapacitate most species. Combined with your performance in the Crucible, it presents a compelling case for human adaptability. Admiral Peters nodded. Which brings me to why I'm here. She placed a data pad on Adam's bed. Alliance Command has authorized a new training program. We want you to be part of it. Adam looked at the screen. The document outlined the formation of specialized crisis response teams for high-risk missions. What caught his attention was the requirement. Teams must include at least one human member. I don't understand, Adam said. We've been analyzing your species since you joined the Alliance, Admiral Peters explained. Humans have unique advantages we've overlooked because they're not immediately obvious. You're not the strongest, fastest, or most technologically advanced, but you adapt, you endure, You keep functioning in conditions that would stop others. I'm not special among humans, Adam protested. Exactly, the Admiral smiled. That's what makes your species valuable. Most Alliance races have specialized evolutionary adaptations. Krell's people evolved armor. Xyraxes have multiple limbs. But humans developed something different. Exceptional psychological and physiological adaptability. The ability to keep walking when others would fall, Commander Vexilor added. Adam was discharged from medical bay the next day with orders to rest for another 48 hours before returning to training. When he entered the mess hall that evening, the room fell silent, then erupted in applause. Cadets from dozens of species stood in recognition. Xyrax rushed over, all four arms gesturing excitedly. They're calling you a hero. The instructors are using the emergency response recordings in training sessions. I just did what anyone would do, Adam said, embarrassed by the attention. That's exactly what makes it remarkable, said a deep voice behind him. Adam turned to find Krell standing there. The Draconian looked uncomfortable, his posture stiff and formal. I misjudged your species, Krell said. I equated physical strength with worth. I was incorrect. Coming from a Draconian, this was as close to an apology as one could expect. Adam nodded in acknowledgement. We have the final combat qualification exam tomorrow, Krell continued. I request that you be at full capacity. I wish to test myself against you properly. With that, he turned and walked away. Did Krell just show respect? Adam asked in disbelief. The Academy changes us all, Xyrax replied, some more dramatically than others. The next day, Adam stood in the combat arena facing Krell. The Draconian was nearly twice his size with natural armor and significantly more strength. Under normal circumstances, this would be a severely mismatched fight, but Adam was no longer the same cadet who had arrived at the Academy months ago. He had studied every species, learned their weaknesses, adapted his fighting style to compensate for his human limitations. As the match began, Krell charged forward with his usual aggressive approach. Adam didn't try to match the Draconian's strength. Instead, he moved differently than expected, using techniques developed specifically to counter larger opponents. The fight was intense but not malicious. Both combatants showed skill and strategy. When Krell's powerful tail swung around, the same move that had hospitalized Adam before, Adam was ready. He ducked under the swing and used Krell's momentum against him, sending the larger cadet off balance. After 15 minutes of combat, Adam managed to get Krell in a submission hold. The Draconian struggled briefly, then tapped out, conceding the match. The arena was silent in shock. No one had expected the human to defeat a Draconian in physical combat. Adam offered his hand to help Krell up, a human gesture of respect. After a moment's hesitation, Krell accepted it. Well fought, the Draconian said. You too, Adam replied. Commander Vexilor approached the center of the arena. Cadet Clark has demonstrated the principle we seek to instill in all Alliance officers. Physical strength is valuable, but adaptability, strategy, and perseverance are often more decisive in real combat situations. The commander turned to address the entire class. Beginning next term, training protocols will be revised to incorporate what we now call human factors in combat readiness. Sometimes the most valuable soldier isn't the strongest, but the one who refuses to stop moving forward. 2 weeks later, the Academy held its graduation ceremony. Although Adam and his classmates still had another year of training, they attended to honor the graduating class. Admiral Peters presented the commissions, standing proudly in her Alliance uniform. This year marks a turning point in our understanding of what makes an effective officer, she announced. We are pleased to reveal that 5 more human cadets have been accepted to next year's Academy class. Adam felt a surge of pride. His actions hadn't just proven his own worth, they had opened doors for humanity within the Alliance. After the ceremony, Commander Vexilor found Adam in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Earth is out there somewhere, Adam said, still so new to all this. New, yes, the commander agreed, but perhaps bringing exactly what the Alliance needs in the coming conflicts, the ability to take hits that would hospitalize most and keep walking forward anyway. Adam smiled as He looked toward the distant stars, knowing humanity's journey among them was just beginning.